The Battle of the Chinese Farm was a significant engagement during the Yom Kippur War of 1973, fought between Egypt and Israel. The battle took place near a large agricultural research station in the Sinai Peninsula that was mistakenly labeled as Chinese Farm on Israeli maps due to misinterpreted Japanese or Chinese characters on the irrigation equipment. The Egyptians referred to the area as Diverse War. The Yom Kippur War began on October 6, 1973, when Egypt and Syria launched a coordinated surprise attack on Israel during the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. The Egyptian forces, under President Anwar Sadat, sought to reclaim the Sinai Peninsula, which Israel had captured during the Six-Day War in 1967. In the early days of the war, Egyptian forces successfully crossed the Suez Canal, breaching the Israeli Bar Lev line and establishing bridgeheads on the eastern side of the canal. The Egyptians advanced into the Sinai, setting the stage for a series of fierce battles, including the one at the Chinese Farm. The battle around the Chinese Farm area took place from October 15 to October 17, 1973. By mid-October, the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, launched Operation Aberrant, aiming to break through the Egyptian defenses and cross the Suez Canal to encircle the Egyptian Third Army. The operation targeted the narrow gap between the Second and Third Armies of Egypt, with the Chinese Farm becoming a focal point. From the Egyptian perspective, the Chinese Farm was a critical location because it was part of the defensive line protecting the strategic Diverse War crossing point in the Suez Canal. The Egyptians had heavily fortified the area with infantry, tanks, and anti-tank weaponry. As the IDF began its attack on the night of October 15th, Egyptian forces at the Chinese Farm were prepared for a fierce defense. The Egyptian units were composed of experienced soldiers who had already fought intensely during the earlier phases of the war. They were equipped with Soviet-made weaponry, including RPGs, Sagar anti-tank missiles, and anti-aircraft guns, which were effective against Israeli tanks and armored vehicles. The Israelis, led by General Ariel Sharon, initially underestimated the strength of the Egyptian defenses at the Chinese Farm.